We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy Show. My name is Hassani. Glad to have you on with me this morning, wherever you're dialing in from. We want to know who you are around the world, city, state, country. We just want to acknowledge you. To all the Twitters out there, we acknowledge you. To everybody on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever community, whatever platform you're a part of, we appreciate you joining the show. This is the place where people from all over the world hang out to have conversations about love, life, relationships. So whatever relational state of affairs that you may be in, we have something designed for you. We've been in a series called Micro Cheating. And then we've kind of unpacked why we choose who we choose and how it's less about that person and more about ourselves, what's going on within us. And so we've been in this Dangerous Partner Profile series, micro series as a part of the larger series. And we're in part 4 today. We've unpacked many of the components of the Dangerous Partner Profile, and we're going to go deeper into that. We're going to close that out today. But before we get started, we want you to share this with as many people as you can, because there's some great information that we're going to be really unpacking today as we bring this to a close. I'm hoping that it was able to give you insight about the decisions that we make and the things that we deal with internally that have an impact on our relationship. But before we get into this conversation, as you know, this weekend is our last chance weekend, and we're excited about it because we have a number of couples flying in, driving in. We want you to pray, give your positive energy and vibes, but maybe you're still on the fence vacillating. Maybe you're that couple who says, I don't know. Should we do it? And then you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Can we do it? It's so close to the date. Can we do it? Yes, you can do it. So reach out to us. Here's a quick video. We'll be right back and dive into today's topic. Doesn't that look like the place that you want to be, to have your fresh start? If so, let us know. But listen, guys, let's go over this. You know, we've been talking about this Dangerous Partner Profile, and just as a quick recap, once again, the Dangerous Partner represents someone you have an instant attraction for, though they would not be a good fit in terms of a life partner. So they're never an option. You know, a lot of times people ask, well, do you want to marry this person? Do you want a relationship with this person? Do you want this person to replace me? And 9 times out of 10, nope, don't. That's not what I was in it for. And interestingly enough, when these affairs become primary relationships, the success rate is just like in the basement. They have a 93% failure rate, a 7% success rate. And so they just are not designed to last, to be successful, generally speaking, okay? And so there are some components of it that we talked about. We talked about developmental lag and personality styles and, hobbies and interests and attachment patterns and family of origin deficits. We then talked about the marital void, which comprise of emotion. There's an emotional component that is missing in the marriage, and then there's an activity component that is missing in the marriage that's created a void. And so there's the last two that we want to unpack today, okay? And feel free to ask questions about this particular series as we end this out. But there's something called pursuit patterns, okay? There's something called pursuit patterns. Now, let me explain what that is. Typically in a relationship, one is more of the pursuer and one is the one being pursued. So let's just deal with men in particular, because I deal with lots of men. And when we try to get to understanding the why, this is what we always hear. Well, it's not like I approached her, she approached me. So sometimes it's men not taking responsibility for their involvement in the pursuit. So the easy out is, well, she pursued me. But in many cases, that may actually be the case. Now, men, we're the ones that are taught to go out, to hunt, to seek, to find. If you want a woman, you go and get her. So when it comes to our marriages, we pursued, right? Oftentimes, men get married, and so the question is, man, do I still have it, right? Am I still attractive? Does anybody want me? Because what happens is the desirability for wives plummets shortly after marriage, okay? While the desirability for husbands remains high and constant. So when you're in a relationship where, man, it was popping off early in the relationship and now it's like we barely have it. There was this passion, there was this aggressiveness, assertiveness that we expressed for each other in the relationship, and now that's gone. I don't know what happened. Could be kids, could be hormones, could be, tired all the time, work responsibilities, just lack of desire, lack of interest. There's an incalculable number of reasons why oftentimes the desire and the drive for a wife goes down. And so it's just like, man, do I still have it? And then when you find someone at work or at the gym or at the supermarket who's looking at you, you're like, are you looking at me? Right? They are now in pursuit of you. And because you are in a desert place, you respond to every pursuit or particular pursuits. And so when someone's flirting with you, when someone's suggestive with you, when somebody's coming on to you, you're not prepared for that. You've always been the pursuer. And so this pursuit pattern says, man, I don't know what to do with this. And so you wind up moving in the direction where you find the most attention, right? Assertiveness, pursuit. And that's how you can oftentimes stumble into these situations. And so there was a time where women were more passive in their approach, more indirect. Now women are a lot more assertive with what they want. And many don't care that you're married. We've heard many people say this actually draws and attracts, because a lot of people want to be in relationships with non-committal people. It's just like, why would you want to be in a relationship with someone who's non-committal? Because I don't want the commitment. I just want the sex. I don't want the commitment. I just want the occasional whatever I want. So the fact that he's married actually is a good thing, because I want to go home and I want to live my life and I want to do my thing and I just want what I want. And so that's the relational dynamic. And that's what makes it safe, right? Because it's not like I want something more, so I'll get what I can get when I get it. And so this pursuit pattern works. Now, I'm talking about men, but the same thing exists with women. We've seen it. Now, obviously, women are used to men coming on to them, okay? And so maybe because, she's attractive and every guy's looking and every guy's approaching, that particular one on that particular day in this season of my life and my relationship was able to penetrate in ways that others couldn't. And so they pursued me. Or maybe you or your spouse is the one pursuing. Maybe you are the one. But this chase that takes place, that used to exist in the primary relationship that no longer does, exists externally with someone else. And these pursuit patterns create an instant attraction. And it's not necessarily that I'm attracted to you. I'm attracted to this dynamic that doesn't exist in my primary relationship. And I become susceptible to that dynamic. Once again, oftentimes the question that the betrayed spouse has is, what was it about her, or what was it about him? What did you find? What did you see? What makes them different? What makes them better? And oftentimes it's not that we are in pursuit of someone else. We're in pursuit of something within ourselves. A different side of ourselves, a side that we're longing for, a side that we have yet to discover, a side that used to exist that we've suppressed and buried, but it is still inside. And so that pursuit for something else results in a pursuit with someone else. See, that's the deeper dive that we've got to understand. And so once we understand that, it gives us another piece of that puzzle to help things begin to make sense. I hope this is making sense. The pursuit pattern is a real thing, folks. And if we truly understand this, it'll help us even in our conversations when we begin to engage in full disclosure, trying to unpack the why. I'm giving you the why. So it may make sense to have conversations with your spouse about this so that you can get clarity from him or her about how to begin to navigate through these challenges. Anyway, you're watching the Couples Academy show. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Couples Academy is committed to serving couples around the world by reaching beyond cultural lines and language barriers. We are proud to announce that we now serve the Spanish-speaking community. So whether you're here in the United States or abroad, Couples Academy has a place for you.
Couples Academy se compromete a servir parejas de todo el mundo, superando las fronteras culturales y las barreras del idioma. Ahora, estamos orgullosos de anunciar que servimos a la comunidad de habla hispana. Entonces, ya sea que estés aquí en los Estados Unidos o en el extranjero, Couples Academy está aquí para servirle.
To the wives struggling to move forward, I know that you're hurt, filled with doubt, fear, anger, and resentment. I know you're trying to be your best self throughout this recovery process, all while still having to be mom, daughter, sister, friend, and so much more. I know it feels impossible to be there for everyone else when at times your journey feels so isolated and alone. I know that more than once a day, you scream on the inside, I can't take this anymore. I know there are days when you feel like you want to give up and run away. I know you spend too much time sitting in your car parked in the driveway to get your head right so that you can keep moving. I know this feels like a lot of work with no guarantees. And I know you wonder, what happened to me? Who am I? And why am I here? More than you'd like to admit. I know all of this because I once felt the way you do too. It may not be evident by looking around because we all wear our masks, but you're not the only one who feels like you'll never get back to you. That's why I've launched Unearthed. Unearthed is a 12-week group coaching program focused on discovering the woman within. Just as the earth hides all kinds of precious stones waiting to be found, buried within every woman are the seeds of wisdom, strength, purpose, and passion waiting to be brought to the light. Unearthed will take you through a spiritual, emotional, and physical excavation process that will reveal to you who God designed you to be and guide you through a process to embrace and activate your true identity. When you complete this journey, you'll have a new focus aligned with your core values so that you can begin to feel your life again and discover that your gifts aren't buried, but planted and waiting to be unearthed. Register today.
Hey guys, we're back. You're watching the Couples Academy show. We're talking about the dangerous partner profile. We are, I believe, in part 4 of this series, and I hope that it's helping to give you some insight into what's really happening behind closed doors, what's happening inside the hearts and the minds of individuals that you may be in a relationship with, or maybe this is you. Maybe you can resonate with what we're saying, and now we're able to, connect some dots and make sense of some things. But listen, I want to say good morning to Nina and Miss Jules and Cali Power Couple, Lisa Gonzalez, Jocelyn, Patrice, Cheryl, Ralph, Daryl, Kimberly, Torre. Man, the list goes on and on and on. We thank you for being a part of this conversation this morning. Hope that it's helping. The last component that I want to talk about of this dangerous partner profile is what we call internal age, okay? The internal age, and I think this will make sense. Do you feel different on the inside than how you feel on the outside, right? You have your internal age, but then that really competes with your chronological age. Now, how many people do you know who are very young, right? But they're precocious, they're very mature. They're considered to have old souls. So their chronological age may be, let's just say they're teenagers, 15 years old, but man, you got an old soul. It's like you're 30 years old. Like you've been here before. And then you have other people who may be older, they're in their 40s and their 50s, but yet they act internally or feel internally like they're still that 18-year-old boy or girl, right? And I don't mean necessarily from a maturity level, like they're immature. They just feel differently on the inside. And oftentimes situations and circumstances in relational dynamics can bring that out. We are triggered by environments. We are triggered by particular things that shift rapidly within us this feeling of an age. So let me give an example of what this means. Like if you're a grown adult, and you're in a relationship with somebody, and this person, for whatever reason, just makes you feel incompetent, insignificant, stupid. You know, when I'm around you, I feel like I'm like 8 years old or something. Like I can't, like, you don't give me space to operate in my brilliance. Like you stamp it out, and I feel like I'm a child with you, right? And then there's other people who are in relationships who take care of everything. They're doing everything. They're responsible for everything and everyone. And it's just like, man, I have the weight of the world on my shoulders. I'm still young, chronologically, but inside I feel like I'm much older than what I really am. And so this relational dynamic just makes me feel older. But I'm young, and I feel like I'm missing out on things. And what happens is when we connect with someone outside of the marriage, they have a tendency of tapping into an internal age that we may be longing for. So for instance, here's another one. A lot of times when people are in affairs, it's not about the other person. It's about them needing an escape from their reality, an escape from the parenting, an escape from all the responsibilities that I have, an escape from the job, an escape. Like I just need to get away and escape and so when I'm with you, it allows me to do that. It allows me to tap into that playfulness. It allows me to tap into that youthfulness where I didn't have responsibilities and I could just talk and laugh and enjoy myself. And that's what you bring out of me. So it's less about you and more about I'm in search for myself, and you have helped me tap into an aspect of myself that I can't live in my existing relationship. Right? So I'm looking for something, not someone, something new and different that doesn't currently exist. And so this is why, folks, it is so critically important that we talk about having balance in your relationship. We talk about this all the time, the difference between your partnership and your companionship. So many of us by default allow the relationship to fall to the bottom of our list of priorities, and it's no longer about connecting, it's no longer about having fun, it's no longer about dating. All it is tasks, duties, responsibilities, obligations, and that's what it is. That's what marriage is. And so that's why every day feels like Groundhog's Day, right? There's nothing to look forward to. It's just one more day of me being spent working from sun up to sundown, from can't see in the morning to can't see at night. When I come home, I'm dealing with these kids. I got to cook, I got to clean, I got to help with the homework. I'm exhausted at the end of the night, and then I got to start the day all over again. That can be a very challenging life when it's your everyday. And so this is why we say couples who play together stay together. This is why date night is important. Scheduled getaways are important, because if you don't take the time to retreat, at some point you may just want to throw up your hands and just retreat from everything. Does that make sense? And so it's less about someone else. Like, I just feel like I'm raising children, but what about the childlike spirit within me that needs to be fulfilled? I want to go to a park, and I want somebody to push me on the swing, and I want to do the roller coaster, and I want to eat ice cream, and I, right? So that element still exists. But what happens is we justify, we rationalize, and we bury it, because now I have to take care of husband and children, wife and children. There's no more time for that. And so you've even convinced yourself, because you've been handed down a script from someone that has told you what marriage is supposed to be like. And so you have suppressed your own desires. And now you feel like you're trapped in this prison called marriage. But it doesn't have to be that way. And this is why we say many of us are guilty of doing marriage wrong. And what we need to learn how to do is marriage right. Because when we do marriage right, then what happens is all of these things that we're searching for, all of these things that we feel like we're lacking and we don't have and we can't experience, we absolutely can. It is possible for you, but we've got to change the relational dynamic that we've established. The origin of a thing oftentimes determines its nature, but it's not too late to deconstruct. It's not too late to tear down. It's not too late to sweep away, build a new foundation so that you can begin to restore or resurrect or rebuild a relationship that works for you and your partner. You're watching the Couples Academy Show. We'll be right back after this quick break. Couples Academy is expanding its team to meet the growing demand of people in need of help around the world. So if you're a trained, licensed, or certified expert in marriage enrichment, infidelity recovery, sex therapy, life coaching, cognitive behavioral therapy, divorce mediation, financial coaching, or family therapy, contact us today. Hey guys, we're back. This is the last portion of this particular show where we talk about the dangerous partner profile. Just want to go to a couple of the comments. Ralph says, thanks to this series, I realized that my reason for straying was I was missing something that I thought I had lost in our relationship, but realized it was my growing up missing something from my family. I was missing acceptance. I should have looked to my wife, not to other women. See, guys, how powerful. See, this is a miracle right here, Because what happens is if I point the finger at this and I say that this is the reason and it's truly not the reason, I may medicate this, but this is still problematic. And so I find myself engaging in the same bad behaviors when I thought I solved it, but that really wasn't it. And oftentimes, many of us just don't know the why, or we know the why on a surface level, but not on a deep dive comprehensive level. And so now that we've discovered, wait a minute, no. It was actually something within my family dynamic, a deficit that I was missing that created this desire for acceptance, and that caused me to do what I did. Now, let's study acceptance. Remember, I say this all the time. Whatever you struggle with, become a student of that thing. Learn about it, the root of it, why it happens, how it manifests, what impact it has. Because once you begin to do that, you become a master of the thing that you have been enslaved to. So if acceptance was what it was for you, Ralph, what an awesome opportunity you have to kind of begin to unpack that and to have real conversations with your spouse about that, so that you can figure out how to build up a wall of protection in that space so that it doesn't create a vulnerability for you in the relationship. So excellent job. Thanks. I consider that a testimonial. All right. Dee says, my wife tells me she has no feelings for her affair partner. Could this be possible? She still doesn't know why she had an affair. So I'm assuming you mean former affair partner. Okay. And so is it possible that she has no feelings currently for him? It's very possible. That's the hope. That's the goal. Usually when an affair happens, depending upon how long it is not just a physical thing. It is definitely a mental and an emotional thing. And so when that affair comes to an end, there has to be a break, a breach, right? A disconnect. And it's not just a physical separation, because you can be physically separate, but your heart and your mind is still with that particular person. There's got to be an emotional detachment, right? There's got to be a he-tox or a she-tox, getting that person completely out of your system. And if she has gone through a process that has allowed her to do that, then yes, it is very possible that she no longer has to have feelings for that affair partner. Now, if you're saying while she was in the affair, she had no feelings for him, well, that is worthy of a conversation, because the reason why and what we get from an affair may be different. You have two people who are in an affair for two completely different reasons. Understanding the reason and the why, and understanding what someone wanted out of that particular situation, is insight into whether there is truly an emotional attachment there. So sometimes what makes sense to us, what makes common sense to us, isn't always the reality of somebody's experience. And so peeling back the layers allows us to really do a deep dive into that. But generally speaking, it's hard to separate feeling and emotion from an experience, because it's a part of every experience that you have. And so I would question, when she says she doesn't feel anything for him, what are you quantifying as a feeling or as an emotion? If it's love, yeah, I get that. That's very possible. But there was something there that created the attraction and the draw in the first place. JJ says, that's exactly what happened to our marriage. We forgot about us and focused on work, kids, bills. We lost us and the fun. Well, it's not too late, guys. You can get it back. Your companionship is everything. It means the world. Listen, there's always going to be bills. There's always going to be kids. Well, not always, but for a long season of your life, you're always going to have kids that you're going to be responsible for. There's always going to be work. That never changes. But also, that cannot be the excuse why you don't find time to connect. There should be rituals of connection that you engage with your spouse in order to reconnect and build up a bond and a oneness and an intimacy that has been missing for quite some time. Then he says, yes, I have felt I was in a perpetual Groundhog's Day. It was all about everyone else and not me. And so this is a reality. We've been handed a script. Guys, throw it away. Create a new dynamic. Do something different. Like, we all have the same story. Man, we got married, we got these kids, we got this house, we got these bills, we got church, we got extracurricular, I got these projects. And what happens to your relationship? It's now in the basement. And so if you've recognized that that's happened to you, reverse engineer it, right? And then figure out a new way. Start from scratch. Press the restart button and have now what you haven't had in quite some time. Kagiso, if I'm pronouncing that right, it makes much sense. I find myself being that person with my sister than my husband as he's what? It makes much sense. I find myself being that person with my sister than my husband as he's all the time serious. Yeah. And that speaks to the personality dynamic, right? So you knew he was serious when you met him. You know, he was serious when you said I do. He was serious when you were dating him. And you were more the jovial one. He knew that. That dynamic had to work because it led to marriage. And so what is missing? Can he be a little lighter? Yes. Can you be a little bit more stoic? Sure. Right. Finding that balance and meeting in the middle so that each of you can still get your emotional needs met is critically important. Ralph goes on to say, find out what he likes and try to make plans for you two to do it together. I appreciate the fact that you guys are talking to each other. That's what this is all about. This should be included in every premarital class in our schools. You're right about that. A lot of times people come to the Last Chance Week and they say, man, I wish I knew this before I got married. I wish this was a part of premarital. But guys, you can help us with this. You know other people who are dating. You know people who are engaged. Being an advocate of this show simply means, hey, let me share something with you that I heard that I think could be impactful for your relationship, because before you say I do, there's some foundational things that you need to know. And so, guys, I hope that you got something out of this series as we bring this thing to a close. It has been fun. We're going to transition into some other things. There's more to come. I mean, we have a list, a goo gob list of topics that we're going to dive into, but we wanted to take our time with this. But have an amazing day. Listen, we will see you in the morning as today is Wednesday, tomorrow's Thursday. So what we'll do is, I like to start new series at the beginning of the week. So we'll do something as a one-timer tomorrow, then go into relationship Q&A on Friday and pick up Monday with a new series. But guys, we appreciate you. We love you. If you need help, reach out to us, couplesacademy.org, 678-200-8996. Take care.